Hey guys, what's up? My name's Kayla from PlanningWithKay, and welcome to another video. You read the title, you know what time it is. Today I'm going to be setting up all of my June monthly bullet journal spreads. Every single month I like to set up my monthly spreads using a new theme, and I end up creating an entire sticker collection based on that theme that I end up using to help set up my spreads. More often than not, I get my theme ideas from your suggestions, both in the comments of my videos as well as over on my Patreon. So this month I'm doing a sunflower theme inspired by these comment suggestions by both Kia and Michaela. I've been wanting to do a sunflower theme like this for years, so I'm really excited that I finally got to bring this idea to life. Of course, I designed an entire sunflower sticker collection matching this theme. I designed my stickers during my Patreon live streams using the app Procreate on my iPad Pro, and I am just absolutely in love with how this collection ended up turning out. You can see some sped up clips of the design process right here that I pulled straight from those live streams. Instead of just the classic yellow, I decided to go with both yellow and red sunflowers for the focus of this theme, and I also added a brick background motif as well as some ladybugs and bumblebees throughout this entire collection to just make it a little bit more unique and add just a bit of extra flair to the designs. Of course, the sticker collection is available for purchase in my sticker shop, including the 3-sheet monthly kit, the decorative sheet of sunflowers in 3 different colorways, and the matching functional add-on sheet, all of which are available in both physical and digital form. I'm also very excited to say that this release is actually coinciding with one of my biggest sales of the year that's happening right now. So everything in my shop is 40% off through this week only, and that includes this new collection, the 50 other themed collections I have available, all my physical and digital stickers, and I also have some original paintings available for sale as well. And if 40% off everything isn't enough, I also have some very special, extra discounted, limited time bundles up in the shop right now. There are 2 different 12-month bundles for 45% off. Each one comes with 12 totally unique themed monthly kits. So that's 36 sticker sheets for just $33. And finally, there is a 4-pack mystery monthly kit bundle for 50% off. So that's 12 sticker sheets for just $10. So if you want to stock up on some stickers and take advantage of this huge sale, be sure to check out PlanningWithKay.com or just take a look down in the description below for all of the links to my shop, those bundles, and all of the stickers that I'm using today. Alright, so with all of that out of the way, let's start talking about this cover spread that I'm setting up right here. I love starting off my month with a big, bold cover spread. Not only does it provide some nice separation between my months in my journal, but it's also a chance for me to sit down with my watercolors and just create some art in my journal, which for me is always a really nice, relaxing, creative release and something that I really look forward to every month. So for this month, I wanted to make a giant watercolor sunflower right in the middle of the spread. I'm using my usual set of Kuretake Gansai Tombow watercolors. For the petals, I'm using a red and a yellow, which are numbers 43 and 32. I used a super dark brown for the center of the sunflower, which is number 47. And for the leaves and stems, I'm using 2 greens, number 52 and number 59. For the line art and details on my sunflower here, I'm using my Pentel Touch Sign brush pens in a few different colors. I did experiment a little bit beforehand with how I wanted to execute this sunflower, and I found that black line art was just a little bit too much. I wanted to maintain more of the softness of the watercolor, so I decided instead to opt for a dark brown and like a yellow ochre color for the sunflower petals, and then green line art for the leaves and stems. And as usual, if you're wondering about any of the supplies that I'm using today, I'll have everything listed and linked down in the description below. Okay, so now this is the really exciting part of this cover spread. I'm now going to actually cut out this sunflower on the right side of the spread to create a little flower Dutch door. I feel like I've been seeing flower Dutch doors like this popping up a lot recently. I know that I saw Cindy over at Llama Letters do something similar for her March and April cover spreads, and I immediately knew I wanted to do something similar for this sunflower theme. So I just used an X-Acto knife to cut around the right half of the sunflower, and this is going to give me a little peekaboo space behind the sunflower, which I'm going to have some fun with a little bit later on. And it also just creates a really cool 3D effect on this flower that I am absolutely in love with. So with that cutout all done, it's now time to create my actual header for June 2021. I made a mental note during my last monthly Plan With Me video that I wanted to do more watercolor lettering, just because I noticed that I don't really do it very often, but I always have such a fun time creating lettering with my watercolors. I just always love how it ends up turning out. So it's something that I'm committed to incorporating more often into my journal. So I stuck with that intention for this setup, and I'm creating some big block letters using those yellow and red watercolors, with June on the left and 2021 over on the right. I also decided to make the lettering match the sunflowers, so I used the same brown brush pen to give the letters some line art, and I also gave the letters some green leaves, just like my big watercolor sunflower. All right, so now let's go back to that Dutch door. I'm going to flip my sunflower over and reveal the space behind it. And I'm going to be putting in a quote right here, starting off first by creating a little watercolor background. I was actually setting up all of these June spreads during a Patreon live stream, so I was able to get these quote suggestions from my lovely patrons who are participating in the chat that day. And I ended up going with this quote suggested by Allison that says, "If you can't find the sunshine, be the sunshine." So thank you so much for that suggestion, Allison. I feel like it just fits so perfectly right here on this cover spread. I used that same brown brush pen again for the quote, and this really reminded me of how much I just love these Pentel Sign Touch brush pens, especially for lettering. They're just so juicy and buttery, and I love how they come in a bunch of different colors as well. Finally, I'm going to finish this spread off by filling in the background with little yellow, orange, and red dots just kind of floating around. I really think this tied this whole spread together, and that is it for my June monthly cover spread. So with that, it's now time to get into the meat of my monthly bullet journal setup, which is all of my functional monthly spreads. First, starting off with my June calendar. I'm creating a floating box style calendar this month, which just means that each day has its own totally separate box. It definitely takes a little bit of extra time and effort to do this, since you have to basically just draw a ton of lines, but I really love the look of it. It's been a while since I've done a calendar like this, and I feel like it was super worth it. So each day here gets a box that's 5 spaces wide by 5 spaces tall, and I'm using my Tombow mono drawing pen as usual in the size 03 for all of my black lines. Now it's finally time to start using the sunflower stickers, and I'm starting off with one of my favorite stickers in the entire collection, which is this big vertical one that features my cat Luna, and I'm just going to stick that in the blank space to the right of my calendar. I'm then going to label the days of the week on the top of my calendar using the freebie sheet that comes with all shop orders and all Patreon rewards. I always edit the freebie sheet to match whatever the newest sticker theme is, so this one matches the sunflower collection with the red and yellow weekly headers that just work perfectly for this calendar here. I'm then going to create a June header at the top of the spread. I first stuck in this red brick washi strip sticker to the right that was included on the April Patreon only sticker sheet, and I'm also going to stick in a sunflower sticker on the left. I'm then going to create my June header by doing some more watercolor lettering, mimicking the block letters that I created on the cover page with the yellow and red color mixing, and I'll also be adding some brown line art once the watercolor dries enough later. At this point, I was completely obsessed with the vibrant yellow, oranges, and reds that the watercolors were creating, so I decided I wanted to also include that on the calendar itself. So I just painted in these little stripes of color at the top of each box, deliberately mixing the colors up sort of randomly across the calendar, and then I'll end up writing all of my dates in over top of those using the brown brush pen. Alright, so with all of my dates written in, that is it for my June calendar, and it's time to move on to the rest of my monthly bullet journal setup. The next spread that I'm creating here is what I'm calling my monthly overview for June. And at the end of the day, it's going to include 3 sections, which will be my monthly build tracker, my June habit trackers, and finally a general task list for the month. So this spread is going to have a lot going on. I'm starting this spread off first by drawing in 2 dividing lines, just splitting both pages in half. And I'm then going to write in my monthly overview header at the top of that big middle section. I'm doing the same 2 lettering styles that I did previously, keeping it all consistent. So we just have some dainty cursive with that brown brush pen, as well as some watercolor block lettering below that. So now I'm going to work on those 2 column sections on the left and right side of this spread. I'm first using these smaller sunflower brick headers from the monthly sticker kit. The right column is going to be my monthly task list, so I just stuck in this to-do list header from the freebie sheet, super easy, and the left column is then going to be a spot for my June bill schedule. I'm creating the header for that by first laying in some whiteout using the whiteout tape roller that I love using, and then lettering in bills over top with my Tombow Fudenosuke hardtip brush pen. I'm going to use a number strip sticker right here as well that is from the matching functional add-on sheet for this collection. Draw in some little dividing lines between each week just for ease of use. And this is just going to give me a space for each day to write whatever bills are due. To finish up the to-do list on the right, I decided to pull out this sheet of warm tone circle list stickers that match this theme perfectly. And I'm also going to stick in a decorative quote sticker at the bottom, again from the April Patreon only sheet. Alright, so now I'm going to finish this spread up by creating my June habit trackers, which are just going to take up the rest of the spread here right in the middle. This month is actually going to be super hectic and busy for us because we're moving out of our current apartment starting June 4th. We're still staying in Portland, for those of you who are curious, just moving to a slightly different area. So because there's going to be so much going on with the move, I wanted to keep my trackers really minimal and easy, just focusing on 4 different actions that I want to keep track of. I'm using my mini circular tracker stickers for these, which give me a little slice for each day of the month to just color in when I've completed that designated habit on that day. The sunflower stickers also just fit so perfectly right in the middle of those circle trackers, so I stuck one in for each habit. And I'm then using these brick flags from the monthly kit to label my 4 habits, which for this month I decided on drinking water, stretching, saving money, and washing my hair. After throwing in some more of those little floating dots at the top of the spread, that is it for this all-encompassing monthly overview spread. The next monthly spread that I'm going to be setting up for June is my daily review and mood tracker. I'm going to use these 2 banner headers from the monthly kit for these 2 pages, using the daily review sticker from the freebie sheet on the left, and manually writing in a mood tracker header on the right using that same whiteout tape and Tombow Fudenosuke brush pen. Now my daily review is essentially just a 1 line a day. It's a spot for me to write down a 1-line brief summary of each day throughout the month. So I'm going to use the second number strip from the add-on sheet, just sticking it in along the left to mark my days. And I also made sure to cut off the 31 at the bottom since June only has 30 days. To finish this simple page up, I'm going to draw in a dividing line between each week again, and I'm also going to use the brown brush pen to write, "Here's what happened today" at the very top. Now for my mood tracker this month, I'm really excited about this because I ended up creating something directly inspired by Andrea of @WildEyesBujo over on Instagram. And I have to thank my patron Cherie for introducing Andrea's account to me. Cherie had shared a post with me of Andrea's April sunflower mood tracker as inspiration for my own setup, and that was actually my first time seeing her account, and I absolutely fell in love with her style, immediately made sure to follow her account, and I thought that her mood tracker was so gorgeous that I decided to basically just do a recreation here for my own mood tracker. I loved that this also gave me an excuse to create another watercolor sunflower. I had so much fun on the cover spread that I totally jumped at that opportunity. And I just used the same techniques to create a smaller sunflower in the middle of this page. For the mood tracker itself, I created 30 empty leaves coming out from the sunflower using a dark green Crayola Supertip marker. So I'll just color in a leaf every day with whatever color corresponds with my mood that day. When I was setting this up during a Patreon live stream, a bunch of my patrons were asking if I could create a printable version of this tracker since they loved it so much. And I always try to fulfill any printable suggestions my patrons make when I can. So I reached out to Andrea of Wild Eyes Bujo just to ask if she'd be comfortable with me creating a free printable of this mood tracker, to which she so graciously and kindly said yes. So I've linked that printable down in the description below for you all, as well as Andrea's Instagram account. The printable is listed under a public Patreon post, so even though it's on Patreon, you don't need an account or to join at all to view the post and download the printable, so I hope you guys enjoy that and get some use out of it. Next up in my June bullet journal setup, I'm going to set up 2 pages here, one for my brain dump and another for a gratitude log for the month of June. These are 2 staple components of my setup that I tend to include every single month. My brain dump is just a catch-all space for any stray ideas, notes, or thoughts that don't quite have a place anywhere else. I tend to use this page to jot down things like suggestions for videos, printables, and stickers, content ideas I come up with, monthly finance calculations like when I need to add up all the bills that are due a certain week, and anything else that I don't want to forget. So that brain dump is going to be on the left here, and then on the right side, I'm going to have my gratitude log, which is just a page to jot down things that I'm grateful for throughout the month. So I started this spread off by lining the entire bottom with decoration, making it look like it's like a whole garden or field of sunflowers, including some little bees buzzing around. Little fun fact, by the way, these bees here are actually the same exact ones from the Busy Bee themed sticker collection that I used in April of 2018. So more than 3 years ago now. Crazy how time flies. And I just think that it's so cool that I was able to pull those from those past designs and fit them so well into this sunflower sticker collection. And I feel like they really added such a cute little detail to this theme. Makes me also wonder how many of you have actually been around since I posted that original Busy Bee April Plan With Me video 3 years ago. If you've seen that video or if you recognize these little bees from that theme, definitely let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't seen that video, I'll be sure to link it in the cards right here so that you can go check it out. So the spread is pretty simple. I just created 4 boxes for my brain dump categories, which are ideas, finance, content, and other, labeling those with some more of those brick flag stickers. And then my gratitude log on the right is just a bunch of watercolor rectangles that I'll fill in randomly throughout the month whenever something happens that I'm feeling particularly grateful for. After finishing the page with some more decorative floating dots, that's it for this spread, and right on to the next one. Okay, so this is my final monthly spread before I finish this video off with a weekly spread as usual, and it's going to include my monthly live stream schedule as well as my June playlist page. For my live streams, I'm using this calendar printable from my $1 Patreon tier. Every month I release both dated and blank calendars matching whatever that month's new theme is. So I just printed it on sticker paper and stuck it in on the left side of this spread. I'm then going to write in a little header at the bottom of that calendar on top of the sunflowers, first using my whiteout tape roller again to give myself a blank white background for my lettering. And then I'm just writing in live stream schedule right on top. And this is going to be just a separate calendar space to write down my 7 Patreon live streams for the month. Now on the right side, I'm going to create my June playlist, which is a section to keep track of all the movies, music, and books that I consumed throughout the month. And while I'm setting this up, I thought I'd also mention some of my favorites from last month's playlist page. So my favorite movies that I watched last month were both international comedies. Eagle vs. Shark was a hilariously awkward romantic comedy by the New Zealand director Taika Waititi, starring Jermaine Clement, who you might know from Flight of the Conchords. And then my other favorite movie I watched was The World's End, which is a ridiculous sci-fi comedy by Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg, featuring just a whole incredible ensemble British cast. So both of those I'd highly recommend, especially for any comedy lovers out there. My favorite music discovery this last month was probably the band Beach Bunny, which is like a fun, indie, kind of angsty, punky band with a female vocalist. And Jake and I have also been listening to the song Lean on Sheena by the Bouncing Souls, basically on repeat this entire last month. It's been stuck in my head for like 30 days straight now. So I think that's got to be like my May anthem, just based on how many times we've listened to it. Finally, for books, I ended up reading 6 new books during the month of May, but my favorites of those were The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang and The Gunslinger by Stephen King. I would really love to know about your favorite movies, music, and books from the last month as well, so if you have any recommendations you want to shoot our way, be sure to leave those down in the comments below. So just like that, that is the last monthly spread that I'm setting up for June, and I'm just going to finish this video off by creating a weekly spread for the first week of June, specifically for May 31st through June 6th. Since this is moving week for us, on the 4th is when we're moving apartments, I wanted to create 2 different task lists for the week. One specifically for moving tasks, to keep those totally separate and easy to navigate and get done, and then a general weekly task list for any other things that I need to get done throughout the week. I used one of the Patreon-only sheet washi strip stickers to divide my task lists, these 2 brick task stickers from the monthly kit, and finally a big decorative header with some ladybugs at the top of the page. I'm then going to create daily sections on the left side of this spread, just giving each day a box that is 13 spaces wide by 8 spaces tall, and I'm using these brick weekly headers from the add-on sheet to label the days of the week here. And I ended up just cutting those down to size to perfectly fit these boxes, which creates this really cool kind of seamless look that I'm really quite a big fan of. I'm then going to fill in that entire extra 8th box down in the corner with sunflower stickers just as some added decoration, using my X-Acto knife to trim the stickers to perfectly fill the box, which also created a really cool look. With the brown brush pen, I'm going to write in the dates in the corners of my daily boxes. And these boxes, by the way, are just going to be like my normal daily logs, where I'm going to write in all of my daily events, to-do items, bills, and live streams as the week goes on. Last but not least, I'm going to finish this weekly spread up with a title at the top of the page, using my watercolors and my brown brush pen again to write in week of May 31st through June 6th. All next to this yellow giant sunflower sticker. After adding in a couple extra sunflowers below my task lists, that is it for this weekly spread, and I'm all ready for the month of June in my bullet journal. I really can't say enough how happy I am with this setup. I very rarely do themes that are all warm toned like this. I tend to gravitate towards cool tones. So this month feels really different and special, and I'm just in love with it. With the weather warming up here in Portland and summer officially starting in June, I feel like this theme really brought all of the hot summer vibes to my journal, and these spreads just make me really happy when I flip through them. Aesthetics aside, however, I'm really excited about the functionality of these spreads. Since I know that this month is going to be crazy busy with moving, it's just a huge relief knowing that I have my bullet journal all set up and ready to go to help with all of the chaos. Don't forget that this entire sticker collection I used today is available for purchase in my sticker shop, and everything is 40% off through this week only for that huge moving sale that's going on right now. As usual, everything I've mentioned and talked about today is going to be linked in the description below, including supplies, the stickers I use, that free mood tracker printable, and all of my socials. So be sure to read through the description for all of those goodies. And that's it. If you're not already, hit the subscribe button down below so that you can keep up with all of my future videos and plan with me's. Don't forget to leave your theme suggestions down in the comments below. I'm always looking for theme suggestions every month. and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.